The quarantine ends. For 200 years, Earth had been silent. The stars above were no longer a source of wonder for humanity, but a reminder of their isolation. The quarantine, placed by the mysterious Galactic Council, had turned Earth into a lonely island in the vast ocean of the universe. No one knew why the quarantine was imposed. Rumors spread across generations, but answers never came. Then, one day, everything changed. It started with a signal. A small satellite orbiting Earth picked up an incoming transmission, its code unlike anything seen before. The signal bypassed Earth's defenses and broadcasted directly to every major communication system. It was a voice, calm, powerful, and utterly alien. Attention, inhabitants of Earth. The Galactic Council has lifted the quarantine. You are now free to join the galactic community. Prepare for contact. The announcement was met with shock, fear, and excitement. On every screen and radio, the message repeated, and people across the planet stared in disbelief. What does this mean? Asked citizens, scientists, and leaders alike. World governments scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings were held, but answers were scarce. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for the possibility of alien life, but now that it was happening, no one felt ready. The United Nations, now united like never before, decided to send a delegation to represent Earth. A team of scientists, diplomats, and military experts was chosen, led by Dr. Elena Carter, a brilliant astrophysicist with a calm demeanor and sharp mind. As the delegation prepared, Earth watched with bated breath. Would the aliens welcome humanity? Or was this the beginning of a threat no one could imagine? The arrival. 3 days later, the skies above Earth lit up. A massive, sleek spacecraft appeared in orbit, shimmering with colors humanity had no names for. It was not just a ship, it was a symbol of power, advanced technology, and the unknown. The ship sent another signal, this time directed at Earth's delegation. Prepare to board, the voice said. You have been invited to the Galactic Council's central station. Your future begins now. The delegation boarded their own spacecraft, a state-of-the-art vessel built for humanity's first leap into interstellar travel. Though it was their finest creation, it felt primitive compared to the alien craft waiting above. As Earth's ship docked with the alien vessel, the delegation stepped into an environment they could barely comprehend. The walls pulsed with light and energy, the air smelled faintly of ozone, and gravity shifted subtly with every step. Dr. Carter led her team with confidence, though inside, her heart raced. This was history in the making, and she knew the entire planet was depending on them. Meeting the Council. The alien ship transported the humans through a wormhole, a journey that took seconds but felt like an eternity. When they arrived, the view outside their windows was breathtaking. A massive station floated in space, surrounded by swirling galaxies. The Galactic Council's central station was like a city carved from starlight. Towering spires glowed with energy, and thousands of ships from countless species came and went. The delegation could see aliens of every shape and size moving about, each one a reminder of how small humanity truly was. The humans were escorted to a grand hall where the Galactic Council awaited. The council members were a mix of species, some humanoid, others so alien they defied description. At the center of the room was a being that radiated authority. Its voice echoed in the chamber, though it had no visible mouth. Humans of Earth, the being said, your quarantine is over. You are now part of the galactic community. But let me be clear, this is not a gift. It is a test. Dr. Carter stepped forward. Why were we quarantined? She asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. The council leader's response was cryptic. Your species has potential. Potential to create, to destroy, to influence in ways no other species can. We quarantined you to ensure you would not disrupt the balance of the galaxy. Now we will see if you are ready. The words sent a chill through the humans. What potential was the council talking about? And why did they seem both wary and intrigued by humanity? A world watching. Back on Earth, every screen broadcasted the events in real time. Billions of people watched as their representatives stood before the council. The pride of humanity was mixed with unease. What happens if we fail this test? Someone whispered, though no one dared answer. The council leader's next words added to the suspense. Your actions from this moment will determine your place among us. Be warned, many will welcome you, but others will see you as a threat. Dr. Carter nodded. We understand. Humanity is ready to prove itself. The council leader's gaze lingered on the humans, as if searching for something. Then it spoke again. Very well. Welcome to the stars. As the delegation left the chamber, whispers filled the room. The council members spoke in hushed tones, their words hinting at secrets humanity was not yet ready to hear. The first step. As the humans returned to their ship, the enormity of what had happened began to sink in. The quarantine was over, but the journey had just begun. Humanity had stepped into a larger world, one filled with danger, opportunity, and mysteries that could change everything. Dr. Carter looked out at the stars, her expression a mix of determination and awe. They don't trust us, she said quietly, but they'll learn one thing soon enough. What's that? Asked one of her team members. She smiled faintly. Humans always find a way. With that, Earth's delegation began their journey home, carrying not just the weight of history, but the promise of a future no one could predict. Welcome to the Galactic stage. The Galactic Council's central station was a place beyond imagination. Drifting at the edge of a supermassive black hole, it was a masterpiece of engineering that defied physics as humanity understood it. The station's outer rings rotated slowly, shimmering with the light of captured stars, while its inner core seemed suspended in a gravity-defying dance. For humanity's delegation, it was a glimpse into a future they had barely begun to dream of. As Earth's ship docked, the humans were escorted into a cavernous hall teeming with activity. Delegations from hundreds of species moved about, some gliding on air, others slithering, hopping, or walking with mechanical precision. The sheer variety of life was overwhelming. And yet, humanity's arrival caused an unmistakable ripple through the crowd. Heads turned, whispers spread, and for the first time in centuries, humanity was the center of attention. The ambassadors of Earth. Dr. Elena Carter led her team into the heart of the station with quiet confidence. Alongside her was Commander David Reeve, a battle-hardened military officer, and Dr. Amina Voss, a linguist whose expertise in communication had earned her a place among the best minds on Earth. Behind them walked aides and analysts, their faces a mix of awe and trepidation. As they entered the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, a hush fell over the room. Humans of Earth, a booming voice echoed, emanating from a towering alien with crystalline skin that refracted light into rainbows. You stand before the Council of the Stars. Your arrival marks the end of your isolation, but it is also the beginning of your trial. The word trial hung heavy in the air. Dr. Carter stepped forward. We are honored to stand here, but why do you call this a trial? The crystalline being tilted its head, because the galaxy is not kind to newcomers. You will face challenges you cannot yet imagine. The Council will observe, but your survival is your responsibility. The marketplace of species. After the formal introduction, the humans were granted temporary status as probationary members of the Council, a title that came with more questions than answers. To understand their new position, they were invited to explore the station and meet representatives from other species. The delegation wandered through a sprawling marketplace, where merchants sold wares that defied human comprehension. One stall offered glowing spheres said to contain memories, while another showcased weapons that seemed alive, humming with energy. It wasn't long before the humans attracted attention. Earthlings, are you truly from the quarantine planet? Asked a scaly, amphibian-like merchant. Its voice was guttural, but its tone carried genuine curiosity. We are, Dr. Carter replied cautiously. The merchant chuckled, a sound like water splashing over rocks. Then you must be dangerous. Why do you say that? Commander Reeve interjected, his voice firm. The merchant leaned closer, its bulbous eyes narrowing. The Council does not quarantine species for no reason. Either you are a threat, or they fear what you might become. The words lingered long after the merchant had moved on. Strengths they don't see. As the humans continued exploring, they couldn't help but notice a pattern. Many species viewed them with either disdain or wariness. It wasn't overt hostility, but there was an underlying sense of superiority. Humanity's technology was primitive by galactic standards, their ships slow, their weapons outdated. To many of the aliens, humans were nothing more than curiosities, an underdeveloped species given a seat at the table out of pity. A hidden human advantage. The dual arena was unlike anything the humans had seen before. It wasn't a simple battleground, but a massive holographic construct that shifted and changed. One moment, the ground beneath their feet was solid rock. The next, it dissolved into a shimmering liquid surface. Massive glowing orbs floated in the air, humming faintly, as if alive. The spectators, a mix of alien species, filled the stands, eager to witness the humans' trial. For the galaxy, this was entertainment, a chance to see whether this primitive species had any worth. For the humans, it was a test of survival. Their opponents, the Yarthak, were a reptilian species known for their speed and precision. Their bodies shimmered with scales that acted as natural armor, and their weapons, long staffs that emitted arcs of plasma, crackled menacingly. Commander David Reeves stood at the forefront of the human team, gripping the compact energy weapon provided by the Council. It was crude compared to the Yarthak's weapons, but it was all they had. Beside him, Dr. Elena Carter and the rest of the team watched intently, their roles to analyze and adapt, not fight. "We're outmatched," Carter muttered as the holographic environment shifted into a dense jungle. "Good," Reeve replied with a smirk. "That's when humans are at their best." The first move. The duel began with a thunderous gong, and the Yarthak moved like shadows, disappearing into the dense foliage. The humans had barely adjusted to the new terrain when a streak of plasma sizzled past them, scorching a nearby tree. "Take cover," Reeve barked, diving behind a large rock. The rest of the team scrambled for safety. The Yarthak were toying with them, darting in and out of view, firing plasma bolts that forced the humans to stay on the defensive. The crowd roared in approval, cheering for the Yarthak's skill. But Reeve wasn't panicked. His sharp eyes scanned the arena, looking for patterns in their movements. "They're fast," he said, "but they're predictable. They keep circling us clockwise." Dr. Carter's mind raced. "If we can funnel them into a choke point, we can force them into close combat." "Exactly," Reeve replied. "Let's turn the jungle into our advantage." Turning the tide, Reeve ordered his team to split into two groups, using the terrain to funnel the Yarthak into a narrow path lined with unstable holographic orbs. The orbs emitted bursts of energy when disturbed, a fact the humans had noticed during their initial scans. As predicted, the Yarthak charged through the choke point, their plasma staffs raised. Just as they entered, Reeve shot a single round at one of the floating orbs. The orb exploded in a brilliant flash, sending an energy wave that knocked two of the Yarthak off their feet. The crowd gasped in surprise. The humans wasted no time. Reeve charged forward, using his smaller, more maneuverable weapon to engage the stunned Yarthak. His strikes were precise, targeting weak spots in their natural armor. Meanwhile, the rest of the team coordinated to disrupt the environment further, using the holographic terrain to confuse and isolate their opponents. The unexpected advantage. As the battle raged on, something remarkable began to happen. The humans, though initially on the defensive, started to dominate. Their adaptability, teamwork, and quick thinking allowed them to counter the Yarthak's superior speed and weaponry. But it wasn't just strategy that turned the tide. Dr. Carter, observing from the sidelines, noticed something strange. The humans were reacting to the Yarthak's movements faster than seemed possible. Their reflexes, their instincts, they were sharper, almost unnatural. "Commander," she called out over the comms. "I think there's something about us they didn't anticipate." "What do you mean?" Reeve asked, dodging another plasma strike. "Our reactions, our adaptability. It's like we're evolving during the fight." Reeve grinned. "Sounds like a hidden advantage to me. Let's use it." The final blow. The Yarthak, realizing they were losing ground, regrouped for a final assault. They formed a tight formation, their plasma staffs glowing brightly as they prepared a synchronized attack. The humans, now emboldened, didn't back down. Reeve led the charge, using the environment to outmaneuver the Yarthak's formation. As the reptilian warriors unleashed their energy blast, Reeve and his team scattered, their movements impossibly fast. One by one, the Yarthak fell, their plasma staffs clattering to the ground. The final Yarthak warrior, a towering figure with golden scales, faced Reeve in single combat. The two circled each other, the crowd silent with anticipation. The Yarthak struck first, its staff blazing with plasma, but Reeve dodged with uncanny precision. With a calculated strike, he disarmed the warrior and brought it to its knees. A shocked audience. The arena was silent as the final gong sounded, signaling the humans' victory. The crowd, stunned by the unexpected outcome, erupted into a mix of cheers and murmurs. In the stands, alien delegates exchanged nervous glances. "They're more dangerous than we thought," one murmured. "It's not their technology," another added. "It's them. The humans themselves are the weapon." The Council's reaction. Back in the Grand Chamber, the Galactic Council reviewed the duel's outcome. The crystalline leader addressed the humans, its tone cautious. "You have proven your strength, but strength alone will not secure your place in the galaxy. The adaptability you demonstrated is unusual, even among advanced species. Tell me, humans, what drives you?" Dr. Carter stepped forward, her voice steady. "Survival drives us, but so does curiosity, ingenuity, and the desire to protect our own. We're not here to conquer. We're here to learn and grow." The council leader regarded her for a moment before replying. "Perhaps that is what makes you both a promise and a threat." Whispers of fear. As the humans returned to their quarters, a council aide approached them with a warning. "Be careful," the aide said in hushed tones. "Your victory has earned you respect, but it has also drawn attention. Not everyone here wants your species to succeed." Dr. Carter exchanged a glance with Reeve. They had won the duel, but it was clear their true challenges were only beginning. Humanity's first conflict. The victory in the duel had been celebrated as a triumph on Earth. News of humanity's success spread quickly across the planet, igniting pride and hope in billions of people. But on the Galactic Council station, the atmosphere was anything but celebratory. Whispers of distrust and fear rippled through the alien delegations. Humanity's adaptability had been put on full display, and it unnerved many. Species that once dismissed humans as insignificant now began to see them as a potential threat. Alliances shifted in the shadows, and for the first time, humanity was about to learn that their place in the galaxy came with enemies. The challenge from the Krevlok Syndicate. It started with an unexpected visitor. Dr. Elena Carter and Commander David Reeve were in the delegation's quarters, analyzing the political landscape they now found themselves in. The galactic community was a web of alliances, rivalries, and unspoken rules, rules that humanity barely understood. Suddenly, a sharp knock echoed through the room. When the door opened, a towering Krevlok warrior stepped inside. Its black chitinous armor glinted under the artificial light, and its predatory eyes scanned the humans with disdain. "I am Vorith of the Krevlok Syndicate," it growled. "Your kind does not belong here." Commander Reeve's expression hardened. "We've earned our place." Vorith's mandibles clicked in irritation. "A single duel does not prove your worth. If you want to survive in this galaxy, you must face true conflict. The Syndicate challenges Earth to a territorial dispute. Dr. Carter frowned. Territorial dispute? We've barely set foot in the galaxy. What territory could you possibly want from us? Vorth's grin was unsettling. The asteroid belt near your solar system, rich in resources, valuable to the Syndicate. You will fight us for the claim. If you refuse, the Council will see it as cowardice. The challenge was a trap. The asteroid belt was critical to humanity's burgeoning space industry, and losing it would be a devastating blow. But refusing the challenge would tarnish humanity's reputation before they even had a chance to establish themselves. Commander Reeves stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. We accept. Preparing for battle. Unlike the duel, this was no simple arena fight. The territorial dispute would be resolved through a simulated skirmish, a test of tactics, strategy, and teamwork. Both sides would command fleets of ships in a holographic simulation designed to replicate the harsh realities of space combat. The humans were given 2 days to prepare. It wasn't much time, but Reeves saw it as an opportunity. They think we're predictable, he said during the strategy meeting. They expect us to use their tactics, fight their way. We won't. Dr. Carter chimed in. We don't have the technological edge, but we have something better. Creativity. They won't see it coming. A forgotten history. Dr. Carter hesitated before opening the file. Every instinct told her this was dangerous, that even possessing such information could draw the ire of the Council. But curiosity outweighed caution. The file contained fragmented records, faded holograms, and cryptic notes. It told a story of a galaxy in turmoil, thousands of years ago, when humanity was not isolated but deeply intertwined with the interstellar community. According to the records, humans had once been a rising power, known not for their technology, but for their adaptability. They could thrive in conditions that would destroy other species. They learned, evolved, and innovated faster than anyone thought possible. But it wasn't humanity's ingenuity that led to the quarantine. It was something far more terrifying. A holographic image played, showing a council member from centuries past. Its voice, distorted and ancient, declared, "The humans are not like us. They are not limited by biology, by culture, by tradition. Their strength lies in their chaos. If left unchecked, they will disrupt the balance of the galaxy." The quarantine, it seemed, was not to protect Earth. It was to protect the galaxy from Earth. Confronting the truth. The next morning, Carter shared her discovery with Reeve and Dr. Amina Voss. Their reactions mirrored her own, a mixture of disbelief, anger, and awe. "They were afraid of us," Reeve said, pacing the room. "Not because of what we had, but because of what we could become." Dr. Voss nodded. "It makes sense. Our adaptability, our ability to find unconventional solutions. That's what they fear. And after what we did to the Krevlok, they're starting to remember why. But this doesn't explain everything," Carter added. "There's still something missing. If we were so dangerous, why lift the quarantine now? What changed?" Before they could delve deeper, a sharp chime interrupted them. A council aide appeared on their communication screen, their expression tense. "The council summons you," the aide said. "There has been an incident, a rising threat." The humans were escorted to the Grand Chamber, where the council members were already in heated debate. The crystalline leader, known as Lauren, silenced the room with a single gesture. "Humans," Lauren began, "your presence here has triggered unrest. Factions are forming, alliances shifting. And now we face a crisis that may be tied to your return." A holographic projection filled the chamber, showing a fleet of ships hovering near a desolate star system. The ships bore no identifying markers, their designs unfamiliar even to the oldest council members. "They call themselves the Eltar Ascendancy," Lauren continued. "They claim to represent those who oppose your integration into the galaxy. Their message is clear. If humanity does not leave, they will escalate." Reeves' jaw tightened. So, they're terrorists. Perhaps, Lauren replied. Or perhaps they are a symptom of something larger. A fear that has lain dormant since your quarantine. Regardless, this is your problem now. You must resolve it. The mission. The Council provided humanity with limited support, a small reconnaissance ship and permission to investigate the Elter fleet. It was a test, not only of humanity's capabilities, but also of their willingness to adhere to the galaxy's rules. As the humans departed, Carter couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than a mission. The timing of the Elter's emergence was too convenient, their knowledge of humanity's re-entry too precise. Someone, somewhere, wanted them to fail. The encounter. The humans arrived at the designated system, their ship dwarfed by the Elter fleet. The alien ships were sleek and dark, their surfaces absorbing light like shadows come to life. A communication signal crackled through. Humans, a voice hissed. You should have stayed in your cage. Dr. Carter stepped forward. We're not here to fight. We want to understand your grievances. The response was laughter, sharp, mocking, and filled with contempt. You don't belong here. Your kind disrupts the natural order. Leave, or we will erase you. A test of humanity. Reeve, ever the soldier, prepared for battle. But Carter had a different plan. They expect us to fight, she said. Let's show them why we're different. Using their limited resources, the humans hacked into the Elter fleet's communication network. Within minutes, they began broadcasting a message. Not one of threats, but of humanity's story. The message spoke of Earth's struggles, its triumphs, and its resilience. It showed humanity's ability to unite in the face of adversity, to adapt and overcome challenges. The team worked tirelessly, analyzing the Krevlok's past battles. Their strategies were brutal but methodical, relying on overwhelming firepower and rigid formations. The humans, in contrast, developed a plan that was unorthodox and risky, leaning on their ability to adapt on the fly. The skirmish begins. The simulated battlefield was a vast expanse of stars, dotted with asteroid fields and energy storms. Each side commanded a fleet of ships, their configurations based on their species' real-world technology. As the countdown ended, the Krevlok fleet advanced in a tight phalanx, their massive warships bristling with energy weapons. The human fleet, by contrast, was smaller and more dispersed, their ships darting in and out of asteroid cover like insects. The Krevlok opened fire first, their energy blasts tearing through space with devastating precision. One of the human ships was hit, its holographic image flickering out as it was destroyed. The crowd watching the simulation erupted in cheers for the Krevlok. But then, the human fleet did something unexpected. Instead of retreating or regrouping, they split into smaller units, each one moving unpredictably through the battlefield. Using the asteroid field as cover, they began targeting the Krevlok's supply ships, the logistical backbone of their fleet. What are they doing? One alien spectator murmured. They're dismantling the Krevlok strategy, another replied in awe. The turning point. The Krevlok fleet, designed for head-on engagements, struggled to adapt. Their rigid formations left them vulnerable to the humans' hit-and-run tactics. One by one, their supply ships fell, and their main fleet began to falter. In the command center, Voreth's frustration was palpable. These vermin fight like cowards, he snarled. Meanwhile, Commander Reed remained calm, issuing orders with precision. Keep them off balance. Make them react to us. Dr. Carter, observing from the sidelines, noticed something unusual. The simulation wasn't just testing their tactics, it was testing their instincts. The holographic battlefield seemed to adjust to the decisions they made, introducing new variables that forced both sides to think on their feet. Is this a simulation, she muttered, or a test of something bigger? The final gambit. With the Krevlok fleet in disarray, Reeve decided it was time to end the conflict. He ordered a risky maneuver, sending the remaining human ships into the heart of the Krevlok formation. The plan was bold and dangerous, but it relied on the one thing the Krevlok couldn't match: human ingenuity. As the Krevlok warships turned to face the incoming threat, they unknowingly exposed their weakest point, their flagship's command core. Using a combination of speed and precision, the human ships disabled the core with a barrage of concentrated fire. The flagship flickered and went dark, signaling the end of the skirmish. Aftermath. The humans had won. The simulated battlefield dissolved, replaced by the hushed murmurs of the audience. The Krevlok delegation stood in stunned silence, their confidence shattered. Voreth approached the humans, his mandibles clicking in barely concealed rage. "This changes nothing," he hissed. "The galaxy will not trust a species that fights like you." Dr. Carter replied calmly, "They don't have to trust us. They just have to know we're here to stay." A ripple through the galaxy. The victory sent shockwaves through the council. Species that had dismissed humanity began to reconsider, while others grew more wary. In private, whispers spread among the delegates. "The humans aren't just resourceful," one delegate said. "They're unpredictable. That makes them dangerous." As the delegation returned to their quarters, a message awaited them. It was unsigned, its source untraceable. "Beware, the galaxy is watching, and not all eyes are friendly." Dr. Carter and Reeve exchanged a glance. Humanity had won its first conflict, but it was clear the battles ahead would be far more complicated and far more dangerous. The Galactic secret, the humans' unexpected victory against the Krevlok Syndicate, did more than shake the confidence of their rivals. It raised questions no one dared ask openly. How could a species so recently released from quarantine outthink one of the galaxy's most dominant militaristic powers? Why had the Council been so secretive about Earth's past? These questions weighed heavily on Dr. Elena Carter as she pored over data streams in the dim light of her quarters. While Commander Reeve prepared the team for whatever challenge came next, Carter searched for answers. Her breakthrough came late one night when an encrypted file appeared on her terminal. The sender was anonymous, the file's origin masked, but its title was unmistakable: Project Null. The Human Dilemma. The Eltar fleet hesitated. Their ships didn't fire, their formation wavered. For a brief moment, it seemed the gamble had worked. But then, the lead ship powered its weapons. "Words won't save you," the voice sneered. The unexpected ally. Before the Eltar could attack, a new fleet emerged from hyperspace. Sleek, angular ships with glowing blue cores surrounded the Eltar fleet. The insignia on their hulls was unmistakable. It belonged to the Thralith, a powerful species known for their neutrality. A calm, authoritative voice echoed through the system. "Enough. The humans are under our protection." Dr. Carter exchanged a stunned glance with Reeve. The Thralith had never taken sides in galactic disputes. Until now. As the Eltar fleet retreated, the Thralith leader transmitted a final message to the humans. "You have enemies, humans, but you also have allies. Your journey is just beginning." A galaxy on edge. Back at the Council station, the humans were met with mixed reactions. Some species applauded their peaceful approach. Others saw it as weakness. But one thing was clear: the galaxy was no longer ignoring humanity. Dr. Carter's thoughts returned to the files she had uncovered. There was more to humanity's past than even the Council admitted, and whatever it was the key to their future. As the delegation prepared for their next challenge, Carter made a silent vow: to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Rise of the humans. The aftermath of the encounter with the Eltar ascendancy rippled across the galaxy. Humanity's resilience and the unexpected intervention of the Thralith had set the stage for something unprecedented, a rising power that the galaxy couldn't ignore. But with this rise came increased scrutiny, deeper threats, and a question that haunted every move humanity made. Why were they quarantined in the first place? Dr. Elena Carter, Commander David Reeve, and the rest of the Earth delegation knew their next steps would be critical. They needed allies, they needed answers, and most of all, they needed to prove humanity belonged on the galactic stage. Not as a threat, but as an equal. The Council's demands. The humans were summoned once again to the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council. This time, the atmosphere was tense, the air thick with unspoken distrust. Lauren, the crystalline leader of the council, addressed them. Humans, Lauren began, her voice carrying the weight of authority. Your actions have drawn both admiration and concern. The intervention of the Thralleth was unexpected, and it raises questions about your influence. To solidify your place here, you must contribute to the galaxy, not merely defend yourselves from it. What do you mean by contribute? Reeve asked, his voice calm but cautious. The Council requires that you share a piece of your knowledge, your technology, or your culture. Something to prove that humanity is not just a species of conflict. Carter's mind raced. Sharing anything significant with the Council could make humanity vulnerable, but refusing could isolate them further. Give us time to decide, she said diplomatically. A choice that could change everything. Back in their quarters, the team debated what to share. Earth's technology was primitive by galactic standards, and cultural sharing felt like it might be dismissed as irrelevant. Then Carter had an idea. It's not about the value of what we share, she said. It's about showing them something unique, something only we can offer. She proposed revealing Earth's advancements in neural interface technology. While basic compared to the galaxy's standards, Earth's systems were designed to integrate with living minds in ways that other species hadn't explored. Reeve frowned. That's a gamble. If they see how adaptable we are with this tech, it might make them even more afraid of us. Or it might make them realize our potential to collaborate, Carter countered. The demonstration. The next day, the humans presented their choice to the Council. Using a live demonstration, Carter showed how Earth's neural tech could interface seamlessly with alien devices. A basic human-design neural interface connected to a piece of Council machinery, adapting instantly to its alien design and operating it with surprising efficiency. The delegates watched in stunned silence. Some murmured in awe, others whispered with thinly veiled suspicion. You see, Carter explained, we're not here to dominate. We're here to understand, to learn, and to work with the galaxy. One delegate, a reptilian being with golden eyes, leaned forward. You say this, but your technology shows something deeper. Your species is not just adaptable, it is transformative. This frightens many of us. A growing alliance. After the demonstration, an unexpected offer arrived. The Thralleth, the powerful species that had intervened against the Eltar, invited the humans to their homeworld. It was an unprecedented gesture. The Thralleth rarely allowed outsiders into their domain. Carter and Reeve accepted, knowing this could be a turning point for humanity. When they arrived, the Thralleth homeworld was a marvel of technology and nature, seamlessly integrated. The Thralleth leader, a being of shimmering energy encased in a sleek exoskeleton, greeted them. You intrigue us, humans, the leader said. You remind us of ourselves, long before we became what we are. Then why help us? Carter asked. The leader's glowing eyes dimmed slightly, as if reflecting on a distant memory. Because the galaxy fears what it does not understand, and because you are a mirror of what the galaxy has forgotten. That chaos and order can coexist, and from that balance comes true strength. The shadow of the Eltar. But not everyone welcomed humanity's rise. The Eltar Ascendancy's retreat had been temporary. Reports emerged of their ships massing near uncharted space, their numbers growing. It was clear they were preparing for something far bigger than a simple territorial skirmish. The Council, divided on how to handle the Eltar threat, turned once again to the humans. You will lead this effort, Lauren declared. You must prove you can act not just for yourselves, but for the greater good. Reeve sighed. So now are your soldiers. No, Lauren replied coldly. You are our gamble. A new kind of war. As humanity prepared to confront the Eltar fleet, Carter and her team devised a strategy unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Rather than relying on brute force, they planned to exploit the very thing that had always defined humanity: Adaptability. They used their neural technology to create a decentralized command system, allowing their ships to communicate and adjust tactics in real time. Each ship operated semi-autonomously, making the human fleet unpredictable and impossible to outmaneuver. The battle was chaotic. The Eltar fleet, larger and more heavily armed, pressed their advantage early. But as the humans' decentralized strategy unfolded, the tide began to turn. Human ships adapted to every maneuver, exploiting weaknesses the Eltar hadn't even realized they had. When the dust settled, the Eltar Ascendancy's fleet was in disarray. Humanity had won, not with superior firepower, but with sheer ingenuity. The galaxy takes notice. The victory solidified humanity's place in the galaxy. Allies began to emerge from unexpected places, offering resources, knowledge, and support. Even factions within the Council that had opposed Earth's inclusion started to reconsider. But not everyone was convinced. As the humans celebrated their victory, a shadow loomed in the background, a faction within the Council itself that seemed intent on keeping humanity's rise in check. Dr. Carter, standing on the observation deck of their ship, looked out at the stars. "This isn't over," she said quietly. "The more we rise, the more they'll try to stop us." Commander Reeve nodded. "Then we'll keep rising. That's what we do." A dangerous revelation. Back on the Council station, a cryptic message awaited Carter on her terminal. It was from the same anonymous source as before, containing another fragment of humanity's forgotten past. The message was brief but chilling. "They didn't quarantine you because of what you are. They quarantined you because of what you'll become." Carter stared at the words, her mind racing. Humanity's future wasn't just uncertain, it was inevitable. And whatever that future held, the galaxy wasn't ready. Humanity's legacy. The mysterious message lingered in Dr. Elena Carter's mind. "They didn't quarantine you because of what you are. They quarantined you because of what you'll become." She shared the message with Commander Reeve and Dr. Amina Voss in the quiet confines of their quarters. The team had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious time and again, but this revelation carried an ominous weight. "What does it mean?" Voss asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "It means we're not just a threat because of what we can do," Carter said. "It means they fear what we'll evolve into. And I think they're right to be afraid." Reeve crossed his arms, his gaze hard. "Then we have two choices. Either we let them keep fearing us, or we show them why they shouldn't." The Council's divide. The next Council session was tense. Humanity's rapid rise had polarized the galactic community. Some species viewed Earth as a beacon of ingenuity and resilience, while others saw them as a destabilizing force. Lorraine, the crystalline council leader, addressed the assembly. "The time has come to decide humanity's fate. They have proven their strength and adaptability. But can we afford to let them reshape our galaxy?" A delegate from a smaller insectoid species rose. "They have done nothing but fight since they arrived. Conflict follows them like a shadow. We cannot allow this to continue." But another voice cut through the room. It was the Thrallith leader, whose intervention had saved humanity weeks earlier. "Conflict does not follow them. It is their response to a galaxy that refuses to accept them. Humanity is not a threat. They are a catalyst. They force us to confront what we fear most: change." The room fell into murmurs. Humanity's delegation remained silent, their presence alone a statement. A final test. The Council, unable to reach a consensus, imposed one last challenge. "You must demonstrate not just your strength, but your wisdom," Lauren declared. "There is a planet on the edge of galactic space, home to a failing ecosystem and a divided population. If you can unite its people and restore balance, you will prove you belong here." The task was daunting. The planet, Valtrex 9, was home to two intelligent species locked in a centuries-long conflict. Its environment, ravaged by war and exploitation, teetered on the brink of collapse. Reed frowned. "We're not diplomats or ecologists. How are we supposed to fix this?" Carter placed a hand on his shoulder. by doing what humans do best, finding a way. On the ground, when the humans arrived on Valtrex 9, they were met with hostility. The two native species, the Orions and the Kalteth, regarded them with suspicion. Both blamed the other for their planet's decay, and neither was interested in outside intervention. But Carter, Voss, and Reeve worked tirelessly, using every tool at their disposal to bridge the divide. They listened to both sides, identifying common ground hidden beneath layers of mistrust. The breakthrough came when Carter introduced Earth's neural interface technology. By adapting it to Valtrex biology, she created a system that allowed Orions and Kalteth to share thoughts and memories directly. The experience was transformative. For the first time, they saw each other not as enemies, but as individuals with shared pain and hopes. With unity came progress. Together, the Orions and Kalteth began restoring their planet, guided by human strategies for ecological recovery. Slowly, Valtrex 9 began to heal. A galactic revelation. News of humanity's success spread quickly. Species across the galaxy, watching Valtrex 9's transformation, began to reconsider their opinions of Earth. The humans were no longer seen as mere fighters. They were problem solvers, unifiers, and visionaries. Back on the Council station, Carter received another encrypted message. This time, it wasn't anonymous. It came directly from the Thralith leader. "We intervened because we know what you are. Humanity is not a threat to the galaxy. It is its evolution. You are not chaos. You are potential. The Council has always feared change, but change is inevitable. It is time they learn to embrace it." Carter read the message twice, her hands trembling. The final confrontation. At the next Council assembly, Lorraine addressed the chamber with uncharacteristic gravity. "Humanity has succeeded where many thought they would fail. They have united the divided, healed the broken, and shown the galaxy a new path forward. But the question remains, can we trust them to lead this change?" Before anyone could respond, Carter stood. "You don't need to trust us," she said, her voice steady, but filled with resolve. "You need to trust yourselves. You fear what we represent, but we're not here to replace you. We're here to join you. And together, we can build a future that none of us could achieve alone." The chamber fell silent. Then, one by one, delegates began to stand, signaling their support. Even some of humanity's staunchest critics hesitated before nodding in reluctant approval. Humanity's legacy. The Council voted to grant humanity full membership, not as a subordinate species, but as an equal partner. The decision marked a turning point in galactic history. In the weeks that followed, humanity worked tirelessly to build alliances and share their knowledge. They weren't just adapting to the galaxy, they were reshaping it, introducing new ideas, and forging paths no one else had dared to explore. As Dr. Carter stood on the observation deck of Earth's flagship, looking out at the stars, Reeve joined her. "Do you think they'll ever stop being afraid of us?" he asked. "Probably not," Carter admitted. "But that's okay. Fear isn't the enemy. Stagnation is. And now, we're moving forward, together." The galaxy had changed forever, and at its heart stood humanity. Not as conquerors, but as catalysts for a brighter future. Humanity ascends. The galaxy was no longer the same. Humanity, once isolated and quarantined, now stood as a member of the Galactic Council. But integration into the galactic community had brought new challenges, alliances to forge, threats to neutralize, and mysteries to unravel. Despite their successes, humanity's path forward was anything but certain. Among these uncertainties loomed one question above all others: what will humanity become? A new invitation. As humanity settled into its role on the galactic stage, a message arrived from the Thralith. Their leader, the enigmatic being who had first intervened on Earth's behalf, extended an invitation to a secluded region of the galaxy. "We wish to show you something," the message read. "Something that has been hidden for millennia." The Earth delegation, Dr. Elena Carter, Commander David Reeve, and Dr. Amina Voss, boarded their flagship and followed the provided coordinates. The journey led them to the edge of the galaxy, a region veiled by gravitational anomalies and nebular storms. As they approached, a massive structure came into view, a station larger than anything they had seen, glowing faintly with a golden light. "What is that?" Reeve asked, staring in awe. Carter's voice was barely above a whisper. "It looks ancient, the legacy of the precursors." Inside the station, the Thrallith leader greeted them. The beam's energy shell pulsed softly as it guided them through vast halls, filled with alien inscriptions and advanced technology. "This is the Eterna Nexus," the leader explained. "A relic of the precursors, the beings who came before us all. It contains knowledge and power beyond comprehension, but it has remained dormant for eons, until now." Dr. Voss studied the inscriptions closely, her eyes widening as she deciphered their meaning. "These symbols, some of them, match patterns we found on Earth. How is that possible?" The Thrallith leader paused, its glowing eyes fixed on Carter. "Because Earth was once part of the galactic community. Your species' ancestors were among those who built this place." The revelation sent a chill through the delegation. A forgotten purpose. The Eterna Nexus contained records, fragmented but unmistakable, that described a coalition of species, including early humans, who had worked together to stabilize the galaxy during an ancient crisis. This coalition had built the Nexus as a repository of knowledge and a safeguard against a looming threat. "Your ancestors," the Thrallith leader continued, "were different from the humans of today. They were explorers, innovators, and leaders. But something happened, something that caused the precursors to vanish and your species to be quarantined." "What was it?" Carter asked. The leader's energy dimmed. "We don't know. But the Nexus is awakening because it recognizes you. It believes the threat your ancestors faced may be returning. The Nexus awakens." As Carter placed her hand on a glowing panel, the station came alive. Holograms flickered into existence, displaying galaxies, star charts, and symbols none of them could fully understand. The Nexus seemed to scan her, its light intensifying, as if it recognized her. A voice echoed through the station, ancient, mechanical, and yet strangely human. "The cycle begins anew. The keepers must rise again." "What cycle? What keepers?" Reeve demanded. The voice ignored him, continuing its cryptic message. "Prepare. The veil weakens, and the harbinger stirs." The lights dimmed, and a final message appeared. "Earth is the key. A divided galaxy." The revelation of the Eterna Nexus sent shockwaves through the Galactic Council. Some species saw it as proof of humanity's importance, while others viewed it as a dire warning. "The humans will awaken something none of us can control," one delegate argued. "They are not ready for this responsibility." "They are more ready than we were when we faced the Precursors' challenge," countered the Thrallith leader. "The Nexus has chosen them for a reason." The council was divided, but one thing was clear. Humanity's destiny was no longer their own. They had become the center of a conflict that spanned eons, a conflict they barely understood. The Harbinger revealed. As the humans delved deeper into the Nexus archives, they uncovered fragments about the Harbinger, an ancient entity described as a force of entropy and chaos. It wasn't a being in the traditional sense, but a cosmic phenomenon, something that destabilized civilizations and drove galaxies into collapse. The Precursors had fought the Harbinger and won, but at a great cost. The Nexus was their failsafe, designed to warn future generations and guide them in the fight. But the Harbinger wasn't merely a threat to civilizations. It was drawn to potential, to species capable of reshaping the galaxy. Humanity's adaptability, their unique ability to evolve under pressure, made them both a target and the galaxy's best hope. The first strike. Before humanity could fully prepare, the Harbinger's influence began to spread. Entire star systems fell silent, their populations vanishing without a trace. Energy storms disrupted trade routes, and ancient machines long thought dormant began to activate. The Council, desperate and divided, turned to Earth for leadership. "You were chosen by the Nexus," Lauren said. "If anyone can stop this, it is you." Dr. Carter and her team devised a plan to use the Nexus to predict the Harbinger's movements and create a coalition strong enough to face it. Unity through chaos. For the first time in galactic history, species that had once been enemies worked together. Under humanity's guidance, the Council formed a fleet that combined their strengths. The Thrallith's technology, the Krevlok's military power, and humanity's ingenuity. The Harbinger's first major incursion came at the edge of the galaxy, where it unleashed a swarm of energy constructs that consumed everything in their path. But humanity's coalition was ready. Using adaptive strategies and Nexus-guided tactics, they fought the Harbinger's forces to a standstill. It was the first time anyone had resisted the entity, and it sent a clear message. The galaxy would not go quietly. A new dawn. As the battle ended, the coalition returned to the Nexus to plan their next move. The station's lights pulsed brighter than ever, as if acknowledging their victory. "You've started something bigger than you realize," the Thrallith leader told Carter. "The galaxy will never be the same." Carter looked out at the stars, her expression resolute. "We didn't ask for this, but we won't run from it. If this is what humanity's destined for, then we'll face it head-on." The Nexus' final message echoed in her mind. The cycle begins anew. The Keepers must rise again. Humanity's legacy was no longer a question of survival. It was a question of leadership, of guiding a galaxy through its darkest hour and into a future shaped by unity, resilience, and hope.